This piece ain't gonna be like the rest that you've seen this afternoon. In fact, I'd like to start it with a situation all by myself. If there were an extracurricular that went through an epic Fortnite-esque battle, I would choose speech to be the inspiration. Now, you may be wondering, what are a ton of slightly homoerotic individuals going to do? Well, the answer is, I want to see them fight. That sounds a bit sadistic. Okay, yeah, I'm sadistic, but think about it. I want to see a skinny blonde kid go toe-to-toe with a hentai addict. I want to see the Indian, who's the president of every club here in Neuqua Valley, punch a freshman across the room. Speech automatically segregates all of the students into the cool categories and the why do you even exist categories. And let me preface this. Speech, if you are in it, people will think that you're cool, but you're not actually cool. So I'm kind of a loser right now. The cool categories are, for example, the acting categories, and they're filled with the people that are what I'd call actually pretty good, and least likely to secretly harvest organs behind the dumpster of the Naperville Public Library. For the rest of us, that's just a Saturday night with the boys. DI, or dramatic interpretation, is the piece that's supposedly supposed to make you sad, but it's kind of hard to cry. And it also just depends on the source material. I mean, take your pick. Parents dying, miscarriage, disease, all that's rolled up into a DI. Then, of course, there's its humorous counterpart, humorous interpretation, but it's kind of hard to laugh if it's not funny. An experience I'm sure that you all will experience tonight or already. And because these categories are so fun, Illinois decided, you know what, you can do it with a friend, and that's why we have duet acting for both of them, so you can celebrate getting last place together. Now, earlier you heard me talk about the loser categories. I'm in one. You see, my category is called radio speaking, but ignore that name because we're just an anime club. Because radio speaking involves giving a radio speech, we just prefer to talk about anime. But you know, we also talk about other things, like my senior, he gave me this really interesting situation that I just have to share. If you were a guy, and I were a guy, and we were walking down the street, and you saw me, and I saw you, and you got turned on, that would be gay. Now, of course, there are the other limited prep categories, and they're better. Impromptu basically has you give a in-class essay speech for about 6 minutes, but you only get 2 minutes to prep. Here, I'll demonstrate for you. Conservative political criticist Ben Shapiro once said, "Women aren't funny." And this is a fact for 3 key reasons. 1, I'm up here. 2, facts don't care about your feelings. And 3, women belong in the kitchen. Oh. Now, if you've ever heard of anything called extemp, it's kind of like debate club, but Neuqua doesn't really have a debate club, so all the political junkies get to flex their political muscles in extemp instead. Now, of course, there's our public address categories, informing and persuading an audience. The most basic thing that you think of speech is called oratory, but it's just a persuasive speech. It's kind of boring, so we're just gonna skip over it. And SOS, or special occasion speaking, is like oratory, but with people who think that they're funny. And that's why I was in it last year. Info is like a research paper that you wrote in 6th grade, but we all know how crappy we were at writing in 6th grade, so listening to one, just ask to go to the bathroom and then stay out there for 10 minutes. Now that we got a few 80 or so kids suited up in suits at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, let's make them talk in front of a couple of bus drivers and social studies teachers. Yeah. And just to say, why? I mean, I can respect getting that dragon money, but putting a compliment on my critique sheet and then giving me last place is kind of like putting into perspective what wrestling actually is. It's two sweaty men rolling around on a mat. I mean, there's an analogy that I could go with here, but speech is already homoerotic enough, and Mr. Rossi said to keep the show PG-13s, or PG, so we're just gonna skip over that. And let me get back to the bus drivers and teachers thing. How well will you judge how well someone will speak? I mean, it's easy to weed out the weak, natural selection after all, but if everyone in speech, well, they're probably gonna be good at speaking, and a lot of different categories have little quirks about them that a lot of people don't really know about. For example, in a declamation speech, you can't walk. Now, if you've never heard of declamation before, just know that it's kind of like Santa Claus or a unicorn. They don't exist, but don't worry about it because you can't walk during it. Now, it's not my fault that they're crippled. Yes, it is my fault. I stole their knees. But you just can't walk during that. But a judge who doesn't know that is obviously going to think that it's special or something. The scoring system of speech is another thing. Repeat after me. One is for the best person in the round.
One is for the best person in the round.
Thank you. And 6 is for the worst person in the round.
6 for the worst person in the round.
If you understand this, you are already better than 90% of judges. I can attest to that. Once had a judge who mixed them up. The worst part isn't even getting the 6th. It's getting the 6th and then seeing a compliment on your paper. It's kind of like getting an A and then still getting beat by your parents. Oh, sorry. That's just part of the Asian experience. Pretend like you never heard that. Everyone both loves and hates tournaments in speech, just like themselves. First of all, nobody likes waking up early, but at the same time, it gives you a great excuse as to why you can't go out that day. And everyone in speech, we still love it though. In our pursuit for attention, we come here and we survive it all. Call us narcissistic, which we are. Call us intelligent, which we aren't. That's what speech is. Man, kind of wish my judges got to see this, you know?
Okay, so I was a little late, but I saw everything.
Everything?
And I loved it.
Yes!
It had great diction. It had amazing jokes. Kind of bad everything else, but that's okay. I believe with the IHA speech ruling that you deserve the best rank we have.
The best rank?
6!
No.
Excuse me, what?
You smell that?
Oh, what?
They have donuts in the break room. I'm off!
Wow. Thanks.